Quilty is brought to you by Baby Lock Sewing and Long Arm Machines. Baby Lock, for the love of sewing. Aurifil. Aurifil Italian thread, perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Fairfield. Together, we can make beautiful things. Free Spirit. A new generation of creative and playful fabrics perfect for fashions, home decor, quilting, crafting, and more. Hovels Sewing. Cut it close with Hovels. Moda. Make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Thermoweb. Manufacturer of heat and bond adhesives and new luxe interfacings, proudly made in the USA. We were just laughing and carrying on because it's a new episode of Quilty. We hope that you are enjoying your day and you're enjoying the show. Linda Rainwater is here with me. Welcome.
Thank you, Mary. Glad to be back.
We have fun on the show, but we also learn a lot, and I learn a lot from you. And today is a conversation. We are going to talk about, I'm going to ask you some questions and about how to shop for a sewing machine, how to find the sewing or quilting machine that's right for you. I mean, can you talk to me a little bit about where a person even starts when they're like upgrading or they want a machine? Help me.
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad you asked that question because I love nothing more than talk about sewing machines, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to a sewing machine, it's such a personal decision.
Yes.
Because a sewing machine is actually kind of your way of being able to express yourself through the art of fiber, right? And so you always want to make sure that the machine that you purchase is going to work for you. So what happens is we're women, and there's men who quilt too, not saying that they don't, but as humans, what we do is we try to engage the people that we know and love.
Yep.
And we get advice from them. And sometimes advice from somebody who is not you, you know, they will give you some opinions about things that may lead you down a different path. So here's some things that I would say.
Great.
You know, when you're talking about a sewing machine, first and foremost, know what it is that you want to do with your machine.
Right.
It's really important. Not only is it the fact that you need to know what you want to do, but you also want to know what you could potentially do. Okay, so that's first and foremost.
Absolutely.
What do you do that you have been doing? What do you want to do that you think that you'd like to do in the future?
If you see embroidery and you're often drawn to quilts that have a lot of embroidery, then when you go to shop for a machine, even if you're not doing it yet, take a look at those machines that have a lot of embroidery features, because if it's in you, you know, you want to be able to do that when you're ready.
Right. And most people that I know don't change machines very often. I mean, this is a decision that you live with for a long time. It's not like a car or a computer. People keep their sewing machines for a lot longer than that. So do your homework. So another thing is when people say that they're quilters, one of the things that I'll say is, are you piecing or do you want to quilt? Right. That's exactly what I do, because there's a huge difference between piecing and quilting, because you can piece on anything.
Right. You can piece on a serger. People are doing piecing on sergers. Yeah.
Absolutely. And they do some great stuff. But if you want to quilt, this is where you really have to get some good information. And I am a strong advocate of going to your local retailer to get some answers, because a lot of times people shop locally, but also look online. There's so much. I mean, shows like this. There's all kinds of people doing great things. So here's some things. What size of quilts, if you are that quilter, right? What size of quilts do you want to do? Because that makes a huge difference in your selection. So, you know, we can have small machines like we have over here, you know, a smaller machine, which honestly, right? I'm not doing a king size quilt on that. I'd be an absolute nut job to try.
It would be really hard.
It would be
because there's so much quilt, and the machine's apron, the area that you have to quilt in, is very small. You would be sad. I mean, you would be sad if you were doing.
It's work. It's just work.
You could do it.
It's exhausting,
but it's work.
Right. So it's not, you know, throw down challenge, right?
Yeah.
Get that king size quilt in there. Okay, you did it. Great. But are you happy now?
Send us the pictures. Exactly.
I want to see it.
Right.
But then this is a mid-arm machine. And so if I'm going to, so I would have to have a regular sewing machine to do sewing, piecing my quilt on, but this is what I would turn to if I wanted to spend a lot of time, say, on a quilt this size.
Absolutely.
And you could do it by sitting down. And here's the nice thing, right? It's only this big. I mean, it's a small table.
Yes.
And it's very easy to put up, and you can put it in a small part of a room.
Absolutely.
And then we have the granddaddy of them all, and that's if you go to a long arm machine, which is on a stationary frame. And the thing about those is that if you look around, you're going to find that they have frames that come in a variety of lengths. And so you can do anything from a small lap size quilt or baby quilt all the way up to a king size. And really and truly, it's a decision, once again, you're going to live with for a long time. So do your homework.
Absolutely.
Ask questions. Work with a dealer that's appropriate in your area that can give you some good guidance.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, I told you once before, Mary, ask to try the machine out.
Try the machines out. So. They will always, any reputable dealer, any significant sewing machine dealership will be happy, more than happy, to have you practice on their machines. You can also take classes at a lot of the dealerships and practice on different machines that dealer offers. You know, we're fond of one particular brand, but try out other brands. See why you want to make the choice. Whatever choice you make, feel good about that choice. Don't just go to one place. You know, see the other options, and then you'll feel really great about the one you decide to pick. And you know, Linda, what you're saying about what are you going to do with these machines? What are you going to do with your sewing machines? Some people, a lot of people, are professional long arm quilters. Absolutely. And some of them don't know a lot about it before they get into it, because the truth is, it's a really good business to get into.
It's a great business. It's
very hard to get long arm quilters scheduled sometimes because they're just so busy they can't take your quilt. So I think that's a growing industry.
Right.
And so, you know, if you want to start a business that you're quilting professionally, you pretty much need a long arm. Right. If you don't plan on quilting at all because you're just a piecer and they call them toppers, if you're just a topper,
right,
you know, maybe it's not the time to look for a quilting machine. But there are also sewing machines that are top of the line that are really great for both.
Right, and they can do everything. So it's a smorgasbord out there, guys. Yes. Look around, do your homework, shop, talk to somebody, and if you buy from a reputable dealer, what will happen is not only, like you said, will they give you lessons on how to use it, but then if you decide that you've outgrown, underbought, or whatever, they'll take that machine back in on trade towards something else. So I think it's the only industry that you probably could do that and actually be able to walk away feeling completely satisfied that you got your needs met.
And another thing, my mom and I were lecturing in Oklahoma not too long ago, and we were talking about how, you know, I was the beginner, my mom was the expert, you know, and I said, you know, the machine that I started on, I'm ready to graduate, definitely. I should have graduated a while ago. And instead of trading mine in, which is a great thing to do and you should do it if you want, I'm going to give mine to a beginner. I'm going to give my beginner machine to a beginner. That's a great idea. Go get myself, you know, something even nicer. Because as I get more advanced in my quilting, you know, I've been making quilts for a number of years now, and it keeps evolving. That's what's so great about this hobby or about this craft, about this art. You just keep finding things you want to do. And I got a tiara and I use it a lot, and my quilting has become something that I love to do, whereas before I sent it to a long arm always.
Well, you know, it's so funny because
I don't do it so much anymore.
Yeah, so sometimes, you know, one of the ways that people get their quilts done is they either do it by machine or they do it by plastic. You know, so we kind of laugh about that, but the reality is that there is nothing more gratifying than taking a project from beginning to end. And I loved it when I talked to your mom one time, and she finally said that she was finishing her machines, her quilts herself all the time now. And you know what? It's so nice because it's totally yours. Yes. It's just totally yours.
It does feel different when you pick up a quilt that you did from stem to stern. I will say that, you know, picking the machine that's right for you is also, it's based on the project, and in terms of quilting your quilt, that's based on it too. If you don't have time, if you need it done, you know, special, then send it to somebody who's doing long arm quilting. Right. If you are doing a baby quilt that you want to get done right away, you know, these things, it all comes into play. But I think having a couple machines is a good idea, which I do.
Well, I'm not going to admit to how many I have.
Will you say? No.
Will I say?
Will you say how many?
I mean, I haven't counted them recently, but I think it's about 10.
We had a contest. We had a contest recently in a talk I gave. Who had the most sewing machines got a prize. This woman had 12. She had 12.
I believe that.
12 machines. I think she used at least.
Okay, you guys. Anybody? Don't tell anybody in my family.
We won't.
I have some hidden.
We will not show them this video. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's not going online or anything.
No, it won't be online. No, not on Facebook at all.
At all.
Speaking of Facebook, join us there and send us your ideas for shows. You know, this is a question we get a lot. Talk about machines and get it from. We say this a lot. Get it from a dealership. Whatever you do, don't buy it at a big box store. There's no support for you there. You can't take your sewing machine questions to Target or Best Buy.
And you don't know if it's you or if it's the machine, and a lot of times it's just you don't have the sewing knowledge. And you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been sewing. People can always learn something. I'm learning every day, and I've been in this industry for a long time. So
no sewing classes at Target. Go to a dealership, a trusted one. And you have a relationship with them. It's great. Thanks, Linda. We will see you again on Quilty, I'm sure.
I'm sure. I hope so. Thanks, Mary.
We'll see you too.
Bye.
Quilty is brought to you by Baby Lock Sewing and Long Arm Machines. Baby Lock, for the love of sewing. Aurifil Italian thread, perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Fairfield, together we can make beautiful things. Free Spirit, a new generation of creative and playful fabrics perfect for fashions, home decor, quilting, crafting, and more. Hovels Sewing, cut it close with Hovels. Moda, make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Thermoweb, manufacturer of heat and bond adhesives and new Lux interfacings, proudly made in the USA.